Hey everyone, this is a quick lesson on how to write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. These problems are found on page 131, problems 61 through 64. The problems ask you to write an equation of each line in slope-intercept form. It says each line passes through the point 1, -7. All right, in this problem, we're actually given 2 points that we're going to use to write our equation. So let's remember our equation equals y equals mx plus b. I have 4 variables here, an x and a y, an m, which is my slope, and a b, which is my y-intercept. All right, so I need to find my slope first, which is the m. I do have an x and a y. I actually have 2 of them, x1, y1, and I'm going to call this x2, y2. Now remember, our m is equal to our slope. Slope is equal to rise over run. Rise is the same thing as the change in y over the change in x. In our formula, change means subtract. So we're going to say y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So just substituting with information that we have, I have -7 minus 3 over 1 minus 1. That's going to be -10 over 0. Now remember, anything out of 0 like this, when our denominator is 0, that tells us that it is undefined. All right, undefined. So when our slope is undefined, I know that it's actually a vertical line. All right, and I'm going to just go ahead and we can fill these 2 points in and take a look at them. I have a point at over 1 up 3. So I'm going to go ahead 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put a point there. And I also have a point at over 1 up -7. So it's actually down -7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have my point here. So my graph just looks like this when I connect my points. So in this case, my equation is actually x equals positive 1. X equals positive 1, because that tells me that no matter what my y is, x is always going to be 1. And so it can be 3, it could be 7, it could be 0, whatever. So that's the equation for that line. All right, that's kind of a trick question. We'll do some more and you'll see some where you can fill in with your x and y. That was kind of a tricky one. All right, number 62. This one says we're going to write the equation in slope-intercept form, and it's parallel to y equals 1/2 x over 5. So let's talk about a few things that we know. First of all, we know our formula is going to be y equals mx plus b. I actually have an x and a y. All right, and I'm still going to look for my m and my b. Remember, m is equal to slope. All right, and let's talk about what slope is. If it's this parallel, okay, what that looks like is I have one line here, and it's parallel to another line here. And what we know is that the slopes, if they're parallel, are exactly the same. They have the same rate of change. All right, so I actually already have a slope. My slope is 1/2. All right, it's the exact same. So now I have 3 variables. I have a y, an m, and an x, but I don't have a b. So I'm going to just solve for b. I'm going to set my equation up. So I have y, which I can see is -7. So I'm going to say -7 equals m, and we decided that our slope was 1/2. So I'm going to say 1/2 times x, which is 1, plus b. All right, so 1/2 times 1 is 1/2, so I have -7 equals 1/2 plus b. So if we subtract 1/2 from both sides, minus 1/2, I see negative 7.5 plus a negative 7 plus a negative 1/2 is equal to negative 7 1/2 equals B. So now I have all of the variables that I need. I have a B, I have an M, I have an X, and I have a Y. So my equation is actually going to say Y equals M, which is 1/2, X plus 7.5 or 7.5. And that's actually a negative. All right, there is problem 62. Problem 63. Problem 63 says, this time we're going to write an equation. Our slope is 0.25 and we have some points. So again, this one is really easy because remember our equation says y equals mx plus b. All right, and slope, we already know we have an x and we have a y, so all we have to do is solve for our b this time. So let's go ahead and fill in all the parts that we know. Y is negative 7 equals m, which is 0.25, x, which is 1, plus b. All right, so I have negative 7 equals 0.25, because 0.25 times 1 is 0.25, plus b. So I'm going to subtract both sides, 0.25 from both sides, minus 0.25, and I end up with negative 7.25 equals b. So my equation is y equals m, which is 0.25, x, plus my b, which is negative 7.25. And there's your answer. All right, our last problem is going to ask us to write a line in slope-intercept form that is perpendicular to this line. So let's talk about what that actually looks like and means. So first of all, remember we have y equals mx plus b, our slope-intercept form. And it's going to be perpendicular to this. So what we know, we have an x already and we have a y. And we do not have our m, but this information right here can help us find our m, or our slope. Okay, remember m is the same as our slope. And although this equation is not written in the slope-intercept form, we can get it into slope-intercept form by solving for y. So let's go ahead and do that. We have 3x minus y equals negative 4. All right, so I'm going to just add y to both sides, plus y, and that leaves me with 3x equals negative 4 plus y. I'm going to go ahead and add 4 to both sides, plus 4. So I have 3x plus 4 equals y. Almost perfect. If I just switch this around, I can say y equals 3x plus 4, and now I have my slope-intercept form. So I see that this line has a slope of 3. All right, but this new line that we're going to have has to be perpendicular. So let's talk about the qualities of perpendicular lines. If I have one line, let's say it's going right like this, up, this is a positive slope. In order to get a line that's perpendicular, I'm actually going to have a line that has a negative slope. All right, and so when we draw a line that is perpendicular to another line, the slope is actually going to be opposite, and that opposite has to do with our signs, positive and negative, so opposite signs, and it's going to be the reciprocal. Okay, so if this slope on this equation is 3, the perpendicular line slope is going to be opposite, so that's negative. The reciprocal of 3 is 1/3. So our new slope is going to be negative 1/3 is our new slope. Now I have 4 variables and I know what 3 of them are. I just need to solve for b. So I'm going to say y. I'm going to choose my y right here. So I'm going to say negative 7 equals m. My new m is right here, which is negative 1/3. X, I have an x right here. which is 1, plus b. So I still need to find that b. All right, so I have negative 7 equals negative 1/3 times 1 is negative 1/3 plus b. So next I'm going to add 1/3 to both sides plus 1/3, and I end up with negative 6 2/3 equals b. All right, and I can go ahead and make that into improper fraction. Negative 6 times 3 is 18, plus 2 is 20. So I actually have 20 over 3. And so my new equation is going to be y equals negative 1/3 x plus b, which is 20 over 3. But it's actually a negative, can't forget that. And so there is the equation for your new line that is perpendicular to this line up here. All right, that's the end of that, and I hope you learned a lot. I'll see you in class tomorrow. Bye.